Hello, boys and girls. My name is Justin McMurray, and I'm a corporate pilot. I work for Oklahoma Aviation, and right now we're at the hangar. I'm going to show you some of our aircraft that we have. So this right here is a Challenger. It's we would consider a mid-sized jet. Really awesome. This next one is an Embraer. They consider that actually a large cabin jet, one of the biggest ones you can have. Next to this we have a little, it's called a light jet. It's a Citation Mustang. Really, really cool planes. And on this side, we have another CJ4. It's a Citation. And the last two are another Hawker, a Citation XL Plus, and another little baby guy right here. This is another CJ4. All business jets that many wealthy people fly, and they're all private. We do a little bit of what they call 135, which means that we fly. They kind of rent it out to other people, but we're not scheduled. So I thought I would show you guys our hangar and some of the aircraft that we have before I read our book, The Little Boy Who Wanted to Fly. All right, the name of the book is The Little Boy Who Wanted to Fly. As a curious little boy and quite the daredevil, many of my days were spent riding my bicycle up and down the country hills. It was my wish that one day my bike would elevate me into the sky and fly higher than I could ever imagine. Well, it never happened. Many days while glaring into the sky, wow, how it would be such a dream to learn how to fly. I hope that one day I would have the opportunity to fly. It was so fascinating seeing big airplanes in the sky because I never understood how they could stay in there. These big, fast machines would stay in the air. Wow, my fascination for speed and heights were so great. While growing up, I also had an airplane in my hand everywhere I went, while daydreaming that one day I could be the pilot that's inside. It was equally a mystery to comprehend how such an enormous machine could stay in the sky, not only for hours, but for days. My sole desire to be a pilot is what I told everybody. But I thought normal people like me can't be pilots. At this point in my life, my young life, I had never encountered or had the pleasure of meeting a pilot, especially any that were brown or looked like me. That will not inhibit me from following my dreams, though. So what? If I'm special, and that was my determining factor, is to be special, I could be special too. So I wanted to fly, but why not I? But I know it won't be easy. Considering I'm still a young boy, let my journey begin by designing the most creative paper airplane as possible as you guys join me on my flight. Now my flying journey starts to take shape when I had the most amazing opportunity to go fly with my dad for business trips. I remember stepping on the airplane, my first airplane. The stewardess greeted us at the entry. I could smell peanuts and perfume everywhere. It was to my great surprise, on one of our trips, my dad made an arrangement for me to go and talk to the pilots in the cockpit. Wow. I was a happy boy. Asked the pilot so many questions, all the switches, the buttons, the dials. I was so intrigued, my curiosity spiked. There were so many different lights and buttons. Where do they all go? I remember feeling a little discouraged because it seemed like it was so much. They gave me a little pin for wings, similar to these, and I took them everywhere. And I wore them with great honor. Whenever I got the chance to fly with my dad, now I would sneak up to the front of the airplane anytime I possibly could to speak with the pilots. Because I'm the little boy who wanted to fly, but why not I? My obsession with airplanes never wavered, and the passion became even stronger. I knew I had to go to school, pay attention, and do all of my homework, which is very difficult at times. School appeared to be so boring, and so many days I would sit and draw airplanes, counting the clouds, wishing I could be in there flying. You know what the teacher's next steps were for me gazing outside the windows were to call my parents and to let them know that I was not doing well in school. Sometimes I would just be lazy and not even do my homework, and sometimes I would do my homework and never turn it in. Decisions were not wise, and it was a bad choice and not smart. Usually my homework was completed, and when it was, I got good grades. But for some reason, I never seemed to turn my work in. All I really needed to do was spend a little extra time on my homework, and I would be able to have fun with my friends and enjoy school. The school bell couldn't ring fast enough, so I could jump on the bus, go home, and as soon as I would get off the bus, I would hurry into my room or off to explore with my wooden airplanes in my hand. Pretending to be a big airplane dashing down the runway, arms spread wide, I would take my bike as fast as I could, hoping that one day I could feel the wind of a real airplane. The excitement of my birthdays and holidays were filled with great anticipation receiving money so I could buy wooden airplanes from the Hobby Lobby. I became very creative with designing my own model airplanes, cars, and motorcycles. At 7 years old and only a child, my life was filled with my dog Chancellor, my friends, fun, and playing. I found myself playing from the sun up to sundown, even until the streetlights came on. Life was about to change, though, when my parents gave me the news that I was going to be a big brother. I wasn't sure how I felt about a baby. It would not just be me anymore, but then it would have somebody play with my toys with me. Though it wasn't the highest priority on my list, hopefully at least it's a little brother that I can share my interests in airplanes, motorcycles, and cars. I always thought it would be really cool to have a little brother, someone I could roughhouse with, share my toys, and to do all the boy things that I wanted to do. It would almost be like a permanent best friend. One day, returning from the doctor, my mother was so excited. "It's a girl." "It's a girl," she replied. "What am I going to do with the sister?" I asked. "She can't play with airplanes, motorcycles, or cars." The puzzled stare was on my mom's face, and she replied, "Well, why not? Girls like airplanes too, motorcycles and cars." My mom did ride a motorcycle, so she was right. Girls can be fun too. But as a little boy, I did not know. My mom and dad would continually tell me that you can do anything you set your mind to and your heart to do. Whether a boy or a girl, you could do anything, but finishing school was a very high priority. My neighborhood friends and I continued our fascination with exploring with our bikes, rollerblading, and increasing the speed of any machine or device we had. Throwing foam gliders became a very intriguing to me, and my best friend was always right there with me to fly airplanes as well. I found myself spending much of my allowance on buying new ones, new gliders, new airplanes, because that's what I loved. However, many of the gliders would float into the trees or into the lakes of the neighborhood, and I would never see them again. I would usually have to wait for my parents to come to the park where I had more open fields, but I was too impatient. My young teen life was filled with friends who were adventurous as myself. Throughout the years, I played soccer, baseball, basketball, and football, but the only sports that kept my attention for a short while. They're the only sports that kept my attention for a short while. Spending time with my neighborhood friends was way more entertaining. And as long as I had an airplane, I knew what I loved to play with. My best friends and I had a new love for rollerblading. What an exciting summer it was going to be. For greater speed and height, yes, speed and height was my claim to fame. The little boy who wanted to fly. Why not I? When the brilliant idea for removing the third wheel would make us faster was presented, of course I would take my wheel out. It is lighter weight. Maybe it would make me faster, because I do like to go fast, just like airplanes. Although I never really noticed much of a difference, the fact that I always like to mess with things and take things apart or make them faster kept me. My mom worked for Metrotech, and since the air shows were near Aviation Center, Metrotech was one of the gate entrances. The first air show I remember at the age of 10, or so I remember, was just like it was yesterday. I couldn't wait to show up early before the show started and tag along with Pete Lee. He was the director of the aviation. He was like my very own tour guide, getting to check out all the airplanes and ask questions. Boy, was I happy. I never wanted that day to end. We walked around the show for hours. The air show had all kinds of airplanes, and all the way up from fighter jets to military transport aircraft. Best part is they let you sit inside the cockpit of some of the airplanes. It was the closest I'd ever felt to being a pilot. One of my favorite parts of the Oklahoma City Air Show was the Blue Angels. They are the Navy demonstration team for F-18 fighter jets, and boy, are they amazing to watch. Flying just feet apart from each other at speeds of well over 300 miles per hour, even to this day, they still give me chills watching them perform. My passion for airplanes grew even deeper. The next step that grew my love for aviation was my 14th birthday. I received the best gift ever, a large remote-controlled airplane. The celebration didn't stop there. I was blessed to join a flying club. After about 4 to 5 days of assembling my model airplane, I was really ready to take it up for flight. This was the coolest thing I had ever done so far. My first lesson became quite overwhelming, but I could do it. I could barely sleep the next day. I was so excited to get to the airport. As we approached the big open field for my first flying lesson, with great surprise, I didn't see any children that looked like me, or anybody who looked my age. Being a little brown boy didn't stop me for the nice men who always took me under their wing and taught me how to fly remote-controlled airplanes on a professional level. They taught me safety and how to do things correctly. This was absolutely an incredible experience before long. I was the youngest person out there flying RC airplanes. I was even able to talk my best friend at the time, Robert, into building an RC airplane with me. Unfortunately, he wasn't as lucky as me. He rushed into things and actually crashed his airplane. You could tell that he was very sad. We were able to laugh and joke about it days later, but I think his feelings were hurt. As years passed, I continued to find opportunities to fly remote-controlled airplanes. However, now as a teenager, I developed a new hobby, becoming fascinated with Fast and Furious and riding motorcycles. Since I love speed, I had to find a way to make my car faster. I put race suspension on it and lots of money into the motor, and even added a lot of carbon fiber to make it light. You know me, I can never just leave things how they come. If I wasn't working on my car, I was working on my motorcycle. making it even faster and cooler. However, that landed me with a lot of speeding tickets. I had I had to learn how to control myself. All of it was way to keep my mind off of school. I never really cared about school. Sports and lunch were my favorite. Regardless, regardless, I had to do my work. I knew if I wanted to pursue my dream to be a pilot, I had to apply myself. School became challenging and very boring, but I had to put the big boy pants on and apply myself. For years, it was all about what I didn't want to do, and now I had a greater purpose. I wanted to be a pilot. I would never turn in my work, and all I wanted to do was talk to my friends and hang out. Unfortunately, that would never get good grades and help me in pursuing my dreams. However, the little boy who wanted to fly, why not I, is me. And I did follow my dreams. And if I can, you can too.